Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The quiet hum of Genoa city's night was shattered when Noah Newman found himself staring into the abyss, and the abyss had Sienna Bacall's face. It began as a whispered confession, a trembling secret wrapped in seduction and desperation. But what Sienna told Noah that night would forever alter the course of his life. "Kill him," she whispered, her voice trembling with venom and desire. "Kill Matt, and I'll marry you." Those words hung in the air like poison, and Noah's heart pounded as if it could burst through his chest. He thought he misheard her. But Sienna's eyes, those stormy, haunted eyes, said otherwise. She meant every word. What began as a tragic love story had just morphed into a deadly game, one where love came with a blood price. Noah had always known there was something broken beneath Sienna's fragile beauty. Ever since the night of his accident, when he woke up bandaged and confused, Sienna had been hovering, protective, terrified, and strangely possessive. But the truth, the horrifying truth, had always been simmering just beneath the surface. Sienna wasn't afraid for Noah, she was afraid of Matt. The man she once called her husband. The man who wasn't supposed to exist anymore. Mitch Bacall had died, or so everyone thought. But in reality, he'd been hiding in plain sight. And now, Sienna's fear of him had twisted into something even darker, an obsession with erasing him completely. When Noah confronted her about the strange messages and late-night phone calls, she broke down. "You don't understand," she whispered, clutching his arm with trembling fingers. "Matt knows everything. He knows about us. About what happened that night in the canyon." Noah froze. He could still see the crash in his mind, the broken glass, the screaming tires, the blood. And suddenly, it all clicked. Sienna wasn't just scared. She was desperate. "If he tells anyone, I'll lose everything. We'll lose everything," she sobbed. Then came the words that chilled Noah to his core. "Kill him, Noah. Make him disappear, and I'll marry you." At first, Noah laughed, a nervous, hollow laugh that didn't reach his eyes. "Sienna, you're joking. Tell me you're joking." But her face didn't move. Her lips trembled, her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't take it back. "I can't live like this anymore. You said you'd do anything for me. Prove it." Her voice broke on the last word, and Noah's entire world tilted on its axis. He was torn between the woman he loved and the moral line he'd sworn never to cross. But Sienna wasn't done. She reached up, pressed her lips to his ear, and whispered the final dagger, "Do it, or I'm gone forever." From that moment, Noah's life spiraled into chaos. Sleep became a stranger, food tasted like dust, and every sound, a door creaking, a phone ringing, felt like a warning. Sharon sensed something was off with her son. "You've been distant," she said softly one morning at Crimson Lights. "Are you sure you're okay?" Noah forced a smile, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Yeah, Mom. Just tired." But inside, his thoughts were tearing him apart. He couldn't tell Sharon that his girlfriend had just asked him to commit murder. He couldn't tell Nick that he was considering it. Because deep down, some dark, wounded part of him wanted to make Sienna's pain go away, no matter the cost. Sienna began feeding him details, testing him, manipulating him under the guise of protection. She showed him old photos of Matt, bruised from their fights, whispering about the nights she was terrified to close her eyes. "He hurt me, Noah," she said, her voice breaking. "He'll do it again if he finds me." Her tears made Noah's chest tighten, and that's when he said it, the sentence that sealed his fate, "I'll make sure he never hurts you again." Sienna looked up, her face twisted with relief and dread. "Then prove it," she whispered. "Prove you love me enough to end it." Meanwhile, across town, Nick Newman was piecing together a very different puzzle. He'd found new evidence connecting Matt Clark to Mitch Bacall's identity theft and suspected foul play surrounding Noah's car crash. He told Sharon, "There's something about Mitch that doesn't add up. I think he's been targeting Noah from the start." Sharon's blood ran cold. Nick, you don't think Noah's still in contact with Sienna, do you? But Nick had already seen the signs, the secret phone calls, the tension in Noah's eyes. He feared that his son was being manipulated by a woman capable of anything. The night it all came to a head was drenched in rain. Sienna called Noah, her voice trembling. "He's here. He found me." Noah didn't hesitate. He grabbed his coat and raced into the storm, heart pounding, mind racing. When he arrived at the abandoned lake house, he saw Sienna standing in the doorway, drenched, pale, her eyes wide. "He's inside," she whispered. "He said he'd take me back." Noah stepped into the darkened house, the creaking floorboards echoing like a countdown. And then, there he was, Matt Clark or Mitch Bacall, depending on which lie you believed. Matt turned slowly, smirking. "I was wondering when you'd show up." "Did she tell you everything?" Noah's fists clenched. "You ruined her life," he hissed. Matt laughed, a hollow, mocking sound. "Her life? Kid, you have no idea who she really is. She's been playing you. Just like she played me." Noah's heart stopped. "You're lying." But Matt only smirked wider. "Ask her about the money. About the files she stole. About why she needed me dead before you ever came along." The room crackled with tension as Noah turned to Sienna, his face pale. "What is he talking about?" Her silence said everything. And in that chilling silence, the truth was exposed. Sienna wasn't just afraid of Matt. She was afraid of exposure. The stolen files Matt had hinted about contained proof that Sienna had embezzled from Mitch's company before faking his death. She'd manipulated Noah into becoming her weapon, her shield. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "I loved you. I still do." But her words were drowned by Noah's fury and heartbreak. "You used me," he whispered, his voice trembling. "You made me believe." Matt stepped closer, mocking her sobs. "She doesn't love anyone but herself." That's when everything exploded. Noah snapped, years of emotional turmoil, betrayal, and heartbreak boiling over into a single moment of madness. He lunged forward, tackling Matt to the ground. The two men struggled, fists flying, until a gun clattered to the floor. Sienna screamed, "Noah, stop!" But it was too late. One gunshot echoed through the house. For a moment, there was silence. Then the smell of gunpowder filled the air. When the smoke cleared, Matt lay on the ground, bleeding but alive. Noah stood frozen, the gun trembling in his hands, horror spreading across his face. Sienna collapsed beside him, sobbing uncontrollably. "You were supposed to kill him," she screamed. "You promised me." But Noah could barely breathe. I didn't mean to." His hands shook violently as he dropped the weapon, realization crashing over him like a wave. This wasn't love. This was madness. By the time the police arrived, Sienna was gone. She'd vanished into the storm, leaving Noah to face the consequences alone. Sharon and Nick rushed to the station when they heard the news, their faces ashen. "I did it for her," Noah whispered through tears. "She said she'd marry me if he was gone." Nick's jaw tightened, fury and heartbreak warring in his eyes. "She manipulated you," he said, voice shaking. "She turned you into something you're not." Sharon's tears fell silently as she touched her son's hand. "You're not a killer, Noah. You were just in love with the wrong person." Days later, as the investigation unfolded, the truth about Sienna's twisted past came to light. She'd orchestrated everything, from Noah's accident to Matt's downfall. The proposal had been a calculated move to erase her secrets forever. Genoa City was stunned. The once glamorous woman who claimed to be a victim was now exposed as a master manipulator capable of turning love into a weapon. Headlines blared, "Murder for love? Sienna Bacall's sinister marriage pact exposed." But for Noah, no headline could capture the torment eating away at his soul. He sat alone in his cell, staring at the ring Sienna had given him, a promise that now felt like a curse. "I did it for you," he whispered into the silence. And you left me anyway. Sharon visited him every day, holding his hand through the glass, promising that one day he'd forgive himself. But Noah couldn't shake Sienna's last words before she disappeared into the rain. You said you'd do anything for me. Now you know what love really costs. Meanwhile, Nick vowed to find Sienna and make her pay for what she'd done. She turned my son into a pawn in her sick game, he growled. But the deeper he dug, the darker the truth became. Sienna's Matt wasn't just a husband, he was part of a criminal web that stretched far beyond Genoa City. And the stolen file Sienna had been hiding might hold the key to a conspiracy involving identities, money laundering, and years of deceit. In the end, Sienna's creepy proposal wasn't just about killing a man, it was about control, power, and obsession. She wanted Noah to prove his devotion by destroying the only person who could expose her. And in the process, she destroyed him instead. Genoa City would never forget the night love turned to blood, when a promise of marriage became a pact with death. Now, as whispers spread across town about Sienna's possible return, everyone wonders the same thing: will she come back for Noah? Or will she strike again, leaving another heart in pieces and another life in ruins? Because in Sienna Bacall's world, love is never pure, it's a weapon, and someone always pays the price. And as for Noah Newman, his eyes once filled with love, now carry the haunted look of a man who learned too late that some promises are deadly. He loved her enough to destroy everything, but in the end, Sienna's chilling words still echo in his dreams: I'll only love you if he's dead. A twisted love story. A creepy secret exposed. And a young man who traded innocence for obsession, all because one woman promised him forever, in exchange for murder. The aftermath of Sienna Bacall's sinister proposal left Genoa City reeling. The whispers spread faster than wildfire: the heir to the Newman legacy, Noah Newman, had nearly killed a man in the name of love. To those who didn't know the full story, it sounded like the act of a deranged romantic, but those closest to Noah knew the truth was far darker. He hadn't just fallen for the wrong woman, he had fallen under her control. And now, every word she'd ever said, every tear she'd ever shed, played on a loop in his mind like a curse: kill him, and I'll marry you. Inside the small interrogation room at the Genoa City Police Department, Noah sat hunched over the cold metal table, his hands trembling. Across from him sat Chance Chancellor, his expression equal parts professional and sympathetic. Noah, Chance said softly, we need to understand exactly what happened that night. Noah's voice cracked. I didn't mean for it to go that far. I wanted it to stop. I wanted her to stop being afraid. He paused, his eyes hollow. She told me Matt was going to kill her. That if I didn't do something, she'd be next. Chance leaned forward. And she promised to marry you if you did it? Noah swallowed hard, his throat tightening. She said it was the only way we could be free. Those words sent a shiver down Chance's spine. This wasn't just manipulation, it was psychological warfare. Sienna Bacall had weaponized love. Across town, Sharon sat in her living room at the cottage, clutching a photo of her son. He's not a monster, she whispered to Nick. Tears streaking her face. He's been through hell. Sienna did this to him. Nick paced near the window, fury radiating from every movement. She brainwashed him. I should have stopped it. I knew that woman was dangerous from the moment she came into his life. He turned to Sharon, eyes dark. She's out there somewhere, and I swear, Sharon, I'm going to find her. While Nick set out on his personal mission to hunt Sienna down, the police continued digging through her past. It didn't take long for Chance to uncover a series of fake identities. Sienna Bacall was just the latest in a long list of aliases. Before that, she'd been Marla Devane in Chicago, Isabel Crane in New York, and Sarah Mitchell in Los Angeles. Each name came with its own set of victims, each story ending with a mysterious disappearance or scandal. The pattern was undeniable: Sienna infiltrated lives, seduced powerful men, and destroyed them from within. And yet, Noah refused to believe she was truly evil. Even as the evidence piled up, stolen money, falsified records, false death certificates, Noah clung to the memories of the woman who had once wept in his arms. She was scared, he told Chance. She wasn't herself. Matt made her this way. But deep down, he couldn't shake the gnawing suspicion that maybe, just maybe, Sienna had played him from the start. Meanwhile, Matt Clark, the man who had almost died at Noah's hands, was recovering in a hospital room under police guard. His face was pale, his voice weak, but his mind was sharp as ever. When Nick visited him, hoping for answers, Matt gave a sly, bitter smile. "You want the truth, Newman? You should be thanking me. I'm the one who tried to stop her before she got your son killed." Nick frowned. "What are you talking about?" Matt's smirk widened. "Sienna's not just a con artist. She's part of something bigger. You think I just stumbled into Genoa City by accident? She wanted me gone because I knew too much." Nick's blood ran cold. "What do you mean, bigger?" Matt leaned closer, his eyes gleaming. "She's tied to an identity ring, fake deaths, stolen insurance payouts, money laundering through companies that don't exist. She needed your son because he had access to Newman Media's systems. He wasn't her lover, Nick. He was her next target." That revelation changed everything. Nick's heart clenched as realization dawned. Sienna's entire relationship with Noah might have been one long con. But there was one problem: Noah didn't believe it. When Nick confronted him, Noah exploded. "Stop it, Dad. You don't know her like I do. She's not some criminal. She's the only person who ever understood me." Sharon tried to calm him, but the rage in Noah's eyes was unlike anything she'd ever seen. He was torn between the woman he loved and the family trying to save him. Later that night, alone in his holding cell, Noah replayed the events in his mind, the whispers, the kisses, the promises. "Do it, or I'm gone forever." Those words haunted him. And then, like a cruel echo, another memory surfaced, one he had buried deep. It was the night before the crash, when Sienna had handed him a small envelope. "If anything happens to me," she'd said softly, "you'll know what to do." At the time, he thought it was a love letter. But now, he wasn't so sure. The next morning, Sharon found that very envelope among Noah's things. Inside was a single USB drive labeled "If I Disappear." Chance had it analyzed, and what they found made the entire GCPD go silent. The drive contained a series of encrypted files, financial documents, falsified identities, and one chilling video message. It was Sienna, sitting in front of a camera, her expression cold and calm. "If you're watching this," she began, "then I'm already gone. Matt wasn't who you think he was. He was working with someone inside Newman Media, someone powerful. I did what I had to do to protect myself, and Noah." She paused, then smiled faintly. "Love makes people do terrible things. Don't judge me for surviving." It was impossible to tell if she was telling the truth or manipulating everyone again. But what stood out most was her tone. There was no fear in her voice, only control. It was as if she knew exactly how this would all play out. Sharon wept when she saw the video, but Nick only clenched his fists. "She's still pulling the strings," he muttered. "Even from the shadows." Days turned into weeks, and Genoa City buzzed with speculation. Rumors flew that Sienna had been spotted in Chicago, then Miami, then as far as Buenos Aires. But every lead turned up empty. It was as if she'd vanished off the face of the earth. Still, strange things began happening around Noah: letters with no return address, music boxes that played her favorite song, and a single white rose left on his hospital bed with a note that read, "Forever means forever." Sharon grew terrified. "She's still watching him," she told Nick one night. "She's not done with him." Nick nodded grimly. "Then we make sure she doesn't get close again." "Not ever." But deep down, he knew it wasn't that simple. Sienna didn't operate like a normal person. She was an illusionist, one step ahead, always rewriting her story before anyone could catch up. Meanwhile, Noah's mind began to fracture under the weight of guilt and obsession. Every night, he dreamed of Sienna, her voice whispering in his ear, her touch ghosting across his skin. "I did it for you," he would mumble in his sleep, haunted by the gunshot that nearly ended a life. His therapist urged him to face the truth, that what he'd felt wasn't love, but manipulation. She made you believe you were saving her, the therapist said gently. But what you were really doing was saving her secrets. Then came the twist no one saw coming. Chance received word from an Interpol contact. A woman matching Sienna's description had checked into a luxury hotel in Monaco under the name Sophie Crane. Security footage showed her alive, well, and smiling. But what caught everyone's attention wasn't her face, it was the ring on her finger. A diamond engagement ring, the same one Noah had bought her. Nick was furious. "She's mocking us," he growled. "She's wearing the ring like a trophy."